So here's a huge question for you. Is the universe basically one giant cosmic machine, where every single thing that happens is just the unavoidable result of what came before it? Or is there real chance, real freedom? To put it another way, is your future already written? That's what we're going to dive into today.
I mean, think about it. The choice you just made to watch this, it feels like you made it, right? Of course it does. But what if that feeling, that sense of being in control, is just an illusion? What if every decision you've ever made and every single one you ever will make was actually locked into place the moment the universe began? It's a pretty wild thought, and it gets right to the heart of what we're exploring.
Now, the official name for this idea is determinism. It's the view that everything that happens, and I mean everything, is the necessary, unavoidable result of what came before. It's all just one long, unbroken chain of cause and effect. If you could somehow rewind the universe and press play again, everything would unfold in exactly the same way, no exceptions.
Okay, so before we go any deeper, it's really important to get something straight. Determinism isn't just one single, simple idea. It actually comes in a few different flavors, and it is absolutely not the same thing as fate. And this is a super important distinction. Determinism says your choices actually matter, a lot. They're a critical link in that chain of cause and effect. You choosing to study for a test causes you to pass it. See? Fatalism, on the other hand, says the outcome is set no matter what you do. Whether you study or you party, you were always fated to either pass or fail. Your actions don't really matter. Only the end result is fixed by some mysterious power. And this idea of determinism, well, it pops up all over the place. You've got causal determinism, which is all about the laws of physics. Then there's biological determinism, which suggests our genes are writing our life story. And of course, there's theological determinism, you might know it as predestination, which is the idea that an all-knowing God has already foreseen or maybe even planned out every single moment.
For a long, long time, the best argument for determinism didn't come from philosophy. Nope, it came from science. And it was all built around this beautiful, powerful idea of the universe as one giant, perfectly predictable clockwork machine.
You know, the idea that everything has a cause goes way back to the ancient Greek Stoics, but it was really Isaac Newton and his laws of physics in the 17th century that gave it some serious scientific muscle. By describing a universe that ran on these unbreakable laws of motion, he totally set the stage for a 19th century mathematician named Laplace to come up with a truly mind-blowing thought experiment.
People often call this the billiard ball hypothesis. Just imagine the entire universe is a giant pool table, right? If you knew the exact position, the exact speed, and the exact direction of every single ball when the game starts, well, in theory, you could predict the entire rest of the game, shot for shot. The thinking was the universe is just like that.
And this leads us to Laplace's big idea. He imagined this incredible intelligence, people now call it Laplace's demon, that could know the location and momentum of every single particle in the cosmos at one single instant. For a mind like that, he said, nothing would be uncertain. The future, just like the past, would be laid bare right before its eyes. This, right here, is the absolute peak of classic scientific determinism.
But just when that clockwork view of the universe seemed totally locked down and unbeatable, a revolution in physics came along and basically blew the whole thing to pieces. The 20th century gave us quantum mechanics, and with it, a deep, fundamental challenge to the very idea of certainty itself.
Okay, so here's the big split. While classical, Newtonian physics is all about certainty, quantum mechanics, the science of the super, super small, is all about probability. It says you actually can't know for sure where a tiny particle is going to be. All you can do is calculate the odds of it being in different places. It's like the universe, at its most fundamental level, is constantly rolling dice.
And the source of all this randomness is what's famously called the measurement problem. Now, this is where it gets really weird. Before we look, a particle apparently exists in this cloud of possibilities. But the moment you try to measure it, the instant you look at it, that whole cloud of possibilities instantly and randomly collapses into just one single concrete reality. We have no idea why it does this. And this is the great paradox sitting right at the heart of modern physics. You've got two completely different processes going on. First, you have the smooth, predictable, deterministic evolution of all the possibilities. And then, bam, you have the sudden, random, probabilistic collapse into one single actuality. They totally conflict with each other, and nobody knows how to make them fit together.
You know, Einstein famously hated this idea, saying, God does not play dice.
Well, this quote from Stephen Hawking is the perfect reply. It sums up the modern view. Not only does God play dice, but he sometimes throws them where they cannot be seen. In other words, the randomness seems to be baked right into the fabric of reality itself. But wait, the story does not end there. The quantum revolution didn't actually kill determinism for good. No, instead, it just sparked this huge, fierce debate that's still going on today among physicists about what reality is really like.
This has led to all these different competing theories. The standard one, the Copenhagen interpretation, just accepts that the randomness is real, full stop. But other theories try to rescue determinism. The many worlds idea, for instance, says every possible outcome does happen, just in its own separate parallel universe. And then there are hidden variable theories that say the randomness is just an illusion because we're missing part of the picture, that there are deeper, unseen forces guiding everything perfectly.
So while the scientists are still duking it out over that, the philosophers have been wrestling with a slightly different question. Even if the universe is totally deterministic, does that automatically mean we don't have free will? And the most popular answer might actually surprise you. It's an idea called compatibilism.
Thinkers like Baruch Spinoza argued that, look, maybe freedom isn't about being able to act without a cause. Maybe real freedom is being able to act based on your own reasons and your own desires without someone else forcing you. So if your own thoughts and values, which are, yes, part of the causal chain, lead you to make a choice, then that choice can be both determined and free. In this view, real freedom is all about self-determination.
So, why are we talking about all this? Why does any of it really matter? Well, because whether the universe is a predictable clockwork, a random casino, or something totally different, the answer completely changes how we think about ourselves, our actions, and, well, everything.
And here is probably the biggest, thorniest problem of all. If a person who commits a crime literally could not have chosen to do anything different, then can we really hold them responsible for it? If their actions were inevitable since the beginning of time, what does blame or punishment even mean anymore?
The argument from the people who say free will and determinism just can't coexist, they're called incompatibilists, is pretty powerful. They basically say, look, our entire system of right and wrong is built on one simple idea, that you could have done otherwise. If you take that foundation away, the whole building of morality seems to just crumble.
And it goes so much deeper than just the legal system. Think about it. How can you really feel regret for something that was completely unavoidable? How can you feel pride in an accomplishment that was always going to happen no matter what? Our whole emotional landscape, regret, pride, hope, is tied up in this belief that our choices really do matter. So at the end of the day, this entire massive debate really just boils down to this. Are we living in an open future, a place with endless branching paths where our choices forge the way forward? Or is there only one road, a fixed future, written in stone from the very, very beginning?
And that leaves us with one last kind of paradoxical thought, which brings us all the way back to Spinoza. If it turns out your life really is a story that's already been written, does understanding the forces that wrote it, your biology, your upbringing, the laws of physics, does that trap you even more? Or does that knowledge, in some strange way, finally set you free?